Hello everyone and welcome back to my new video. It has been what feels like years since I've made one, but I guess that's what I say in the beginning of every video, right? So I've been planning on filming this for a long time, but I actually never found the time, or if I did, I wasn't sure if I should post this or not, because this can be so triggering to some of you guys, and I really don't want this video to be harmful. I want it to be the exact opposite. I want it to be inspiring and I want it to help people. But let's say disclaimer, if you are easily triggered by topics like suicide, self-harm, anything around that topic, I really highly do not recommend you to watch this video, because as I said, I don't want to be a bad influence on you. And I know that for some people, hearing about this stuff can do a lot of harm and can be really challenging, so please just stay safe, and if you decide to watch this video, don't say that you haven't been warned. So at one point I was convinced to my inner self that my life was going to end in a few weeks, in a few days, and I started planning everything after I was really sure that this was what I wanted. I started planning things. Of course, I prepared something, and I really don't want to go into detail about that because I don't want anyone to take advice from this video on how to kill yourself, basically. What I can tell you is that I got myself some medication that wasn't for me, that I really didn't need, and I made sure that I was gonna get a dosage that would kill me. And I prepared everything. I wrote about 5,000 letters that I destroyed after reading them, and I even made videos talking to the camera, explaining my situation, apologizing for leaving all of these people behind. And I remember asking myself every single day, is this really what you want? Is this really the only option? And I always told myself, yes, it is the only option. And I can't really blame myself for thinking like this now, because I was so young. I didn't have any coping mechanism back then, not any healthy coping mechanisms at least. I had no one to talk to, and I couldn't really bring myself to go up to a person and be like, hey, I'm doing really, really bad. Can you please give me some sort of help? I didn't think like this, but if you are really young and if you are in such a situation, then I really want you to consider every other option before you make such a drastic decision, because I mean, it's obvious, but once you've done it, you can never go back. And so I asked myself every single day, and I really made sure that this was the thing for me. And yeah. So the night came, and I remember myself feeling really excited, and of course I had thought a lot about what would happen if I did this, what would happen to me, to my soul, and what would happen if I survived, what would happen if I really did die. I was thinking a lot, but for the most part, I was really excited because I knew that after this event, my life would be different. I could be dead, or I could at least find some other source of help, or people would finally see that I was struggling. So I remember myself feeling really relieved and really peaceful and calm, and I kind of said goodbye to my parents. I remember going to them, having a kind of long conversation, telling them about how I felt, about our relationship, and apologizing for everything that I have done to them. And they didn't really think anything into this. They thought I was just having a conversation with them. I mean, I wasn't a really social kid, so they were probably happy that I was gonna talk to them once in my life. Um, I said goodbye, and it was really heartbreaking for me to think about the fact that I would never see my siblings again, because I've always had such a great connection to them, especially to my younger brother. It kind of feels like he's my child sometimes, and that's weird for some people, but I just feel like I am such a role model for him, and I've known him since he was a little baby and everything. And he was the only person I really worried about, because what was he gonna think when he would find out that I have ended my own life? And I was super sad that I couldn't be there for him anymore, that he had to go through everything in his life on his own without me, but it wasn't enough to hold me back from my decision. So I went to my room, and again, I'm not going to explain how I did it, but I did what I did. And I just, I really didn't know what to do. I just laid down in my bed and waited for anything to happen, basically. And it was kind of naive for me to believe that I was just gonna fall asleep and not wake up anymore, because killing yourself with medication is not peaceful, it is not calm, it is really, really, really horrible, and you have to suffer a lot. And you kind of, I imagine myself to just pass out and be dead, but I didn't think about the fact that that my body was gonna fight, and that my body wasn't just gonna give up. And I didn't think about this. So everything kind of got out of my control when my dad came into my room, and I don't really remember what he wanted from me, but he wanted to talk to me about anything, probably school stuff. And I don't know, he noticed that I was doing kind of bad. He noticed that I was acting super weird, and I mean, I was a weird kid, so acting weird was normal for me, but he felt that something was wrong, that something wasn't like every other night. So he kind of asked me, and I didn't see anything, so he looked through my room to find some sort of, anything basically, and he saw the package of the medication that I took in the trash. And the moment he saw it, everything started to go so out of my control and so not how I planned it, because I planned this to be a scream for help or my greatest relief ever. And basically, he found the medication. Just, I don't want to bash my parents or anything, but I just wanted to say that this is the most horrendous way that you can react to anyone suicide attempt. I mean, yeah, so he found the package, and he looked at me, and he counted one and one together, and he was really shook. He was really shook, and what he said to me was, I can't believe that you did this, even though you know that I have to go to work tomorrow, and now I'm gonna take you to the hospital, and it's gonna take me all night. So he was pretty much pissed that I did this to him, and that he had to take his time to get me to the hospital. So he was really pissed, and that I was expecting a lot from him, but I was not expecting that. I think that he was so in shock that he didn't really know what else to say, and he's a really strict person. He's a really harsh person. So, but it was not a nice way to come up to someone who just tried to end their own life. it was not nice. So he basically called my mom to come over, and she came over. She looked at me, and I saw a lot of disappointment in her face, but I saw even more anger in her face. She was also really angry at me, I guess, because she could not understand what I've just done. She didn't really know what to do. And so they both were really not in the best mood. They were arguing on whether what was to do. And my mom is a person, she doesn't really like hospitals. I don't like hospitals either, but she never takes someone to the hospital unless they're about to die, I guess. Not even then, because I was actually about to die and she didn't want to take me to the hospital, because what she said was something like, she did this intentionally, so she has to go through this on her own. So she was kind of punishing me for doing this by not taking me to the hospital. And I mean, I still, till this day, think that this is really fucked up, and I don't want to sit here be like, oh my god, my parents are so bad, I'm this poor victim, blah blah blah. I just want to tell you that this is not a way to react when your kid wants to kill themselves. It's not fucking nice to say to your daughter when she just took an overdose that she's just making you she's just I don't really know what to say, basically. So I was pretty pissed. I didn't know what to do, because not even suicide worked for me. Not even that could get me out of this horrible situation. And my mom decided not to take me to the hospital, and just see what would happen. She didn't really believe that I was gonna die. And I mean, I didn't. I mean, fortunately. So I just went to bed. I felt so miserable. I can't tell you how miserable I felt. I felt so out of control. I really didn't know what to do anymore. And so I just fell asleep because the medication was starting to kick in. And I just remember falling asleep and then waking up puking. I was puking the shit out of my stomach. I know this sounds fucking disgusting, but I was throwing up everything, and I could still see the little pills in my vomit, and it was really disgusting. And I was laying in my bed, waking up, then throwing up into some sort of garbage bag that was just next to my bed, and then falling back to sleep. I didn't even clean my hands. I didn't clean up anything. I was so exhausted. I felt really shitty. My whole body was in pain. I felt super dizzy. I couldn't even get up, and I was vomiting and vomiting and falling back to sleep and vomiting and falling back to sleep all night. And I can tell you, this night was so fucking bad. It was not what I expected. I expected to lay down in bed peacefully and never wake up again. And this happened. So I was not doing great, apparently. And the next day came, and my mom came to my room, saw all the vomit all over the bed, all over the fucking floor, and the garbage bag that didn't really do much for me, because I couldn't control anything anymore. And she was fucking mad because she was the one who had to clean this up. Not a great reaction again, but the best part is yet to come. So the next day, me and my school class had kind of a 2-day trip. So a trip where we would go hiking, we would go do anything, and then we'd sleep somewhere, and the next day we'd go back. And my mom actually made me go there. She made me go to school on a school trip to fucking hiking in the mountains, just after I tried to kill myself, and just after I overdosed. And I know she did it kind of as punishment, and she was like, I'm not gonna feel sorry for you because you did this to yourself. But no, it was just not a good way of reaction. It was just not a good. And yeah, it was pretty bad. It was super shitty what she did and what she said, and I was mad at her about this for a long time. So I went hiking with my school. I looked like death. I felt like death. I felt so bad. And again, no one noticed anything. No one did anything. No one said anything to me. Not my teachers, not my classmates, because I was just so quiet and so within myself that people didn't really notice me, even though I was dying right next to them. I felt really bad, and I remember hiking and walking like upstairs, and I felt like my heart was just gonna give up. I actually felt my heart being so exhausted from the night before that it couldn't really carry me anymore, and I felt like I was gonna pass out like right every second, but I didn't. And I really don't know how my body was so strong that it took all of this and that it could deal with all of this, but my body went through a lot of shit. And I'm still alive. And I guess that's a fucking miracle. So I really hope that I could help you with this story, with telling you guys my story. I know this video has gotten to, it is way too long, and I don't even know if you're gonna watch it, but if I can help one single person with this, I'm totally satisfied, and that's everything I wanted to do. If you are in a bad situation right now and you consider suicide an option, you can call a crisis hotline. There is one available for any country. I can link some of them in the description box, but if you're not from the US or Germany or from Britain, if you're from anywhere else, you can just type in suicide hotline and your country, and I'm sure there will be links that can help you. There are people that can really be fucking helpful, and just listening is enough sometimes. So be careful, look around you, don't just focus on yourself, focus on others. And if you are not feeling good right now, I beg you to stay with me, to stick around, and to not give up, and to get out of this world as a winner. Yeah. Good night, everyone.